Hi guys, and welcome back to 12 Days of Foundation Day 3. We are on the third day of me testing out 12 foundations over 12 days. I will link to the previous days below along with timestamps for this review. Let's go ahead and chat about the foundation we're reviewing today because it has been so highly requested. It is the Marc Jacobs Remarkable Full Coverage Foundation, so let's go ahead and get started. So the Marc Jacobs Remarkable Full Coverage Foundation has been out for some time now, and it seems to be quite a popular foundation for people who are looking for something very full coverage. When you look on the Sephora website, it claims to be full coverage, good for normal, combination, and oily skin types, but interestingly enough, when you look at the finish, it says that it's, let me just tell you exactly what it says. It says it's satin, matte, radiant, and natural. But then when you look in the actual description of the product, it says it's soft matte, but there's also a glow in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and say they're probably going for a soft matte formula. You are getting a 0.75 fluid ounces in here, which is about a quarter less than you get in the average foundation. But what I will say is this has a ton of pigment in it and you truly only need a little bit. There's some foundations out there, and I know I've reviewed some that say, oh, there's so much pigment in here, that's why we're giving you less product. And I'm kind of like, I don't know. But I truly feel like this really is packed with pigment like they claim. So the price tag is definitely high. It's 64 Canadian, 55 American, but I really truly feel like you do need to use less of this product. So that kind of helps its case. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and wear it throughout the day so you can decide for yourself if you feel like you want to spend the money. But I definitely do feel like it does live up to its claims of that, which I don't know if I'm kind of like spoiling it, but that's the truth. This foundation, it comes in 22 different shades, and I'm wearing the shade 58 Honey Deep. I will have links down below for shades that I am in more popular foundations. It comes in a beautiful kind of glass frosted bottle, and it's a little bit unique in the sense that it has this, what they're calling, I forget what they call it exactly, but basically it's kind of like a dotting tool, and essentially they put that on there because it is so high pigment. They don't want to give you a pump or something that you're going to just use way too much product. So I know some people may feel that it's unhygienic. I personally don't mind it at all. I find it really, really easy for application. They recommend using 1 to 2 dots for a more sheer medium, and then 3 to 4 dots for something more full. I've primed this half of my face, so I'm going to bring you in and I will show you how it goes. I've been using the new Benefit Pearl primer with it, and I've really, really been liking it. I have used it unprimed as well, but I'm trying to get into using more primer, so I have been liking this with it. I think if you have a drier skin type, you'll definitely need to use a primer with this, something more moisturizing. And then also, even if you have oily skin, perhaps prep your skin with a spray, something like the Tarte Ready Set Radiant or the Mario Badescu Rose Water, just to help things kind of move along, because it is so high pigment and quite matte. But I haven't had any problems blending it out, but I definitely do prefer it with kind of a more dense brush. So let me bring you in and show you exactly how I apply it. One thing I'm not used to for sure is having my hair in my face. I always wear my hair up for foundation reviews, or it's curly, and when my hair is curly, it doesn't really move. So I'm not used to my hair moving. I find it just so incredibly bizarre. I'm gonna go ahead, I'll start over here because this is my more problem side. I'm just gonna put these kind of 2 little swipes. And I have been liking it with my Becca, the One Perfecting brush. This brush seems so gimmicky, but it's actually quite good, especially for full coverage. So, first of all, blends out so easy. And I put a tiny bit on my face, and although you can still kind of see my marks, it's definitely like completely evened out my skin tone. I will say it is so blendable. And I'm barely gonna, oh, I almost put too much on my forehead because I don't really have any problem areas there. But it says that it has gold micas in it, which help to give you a more glowy look, but it's not like shimmery by any means. And then it also says that the pigments are wrapped in lecithin or something, which is supposed to give it a more skin-like finish. So I definitely agree that this is a really beautiful full coverage foundation. I feel like I'm giving away this review, but I'm not giving you like a surprise at the end. We had enough surprises on day 1 with Mystery Foundation. So you can just see how skin-like it looks. It's a really great color match. I really, really love the way that it looks on the skin. It doesn't look or feel heavy at all. So this is generally where I would leave the coverage at, but I am gonna build it up just slightly more so you can really see it. I definitely don't put a lot like on my nose. Like, I like to see my freckles. I don't like to put a lot on my forehead, but I will build it up just slightly more on my cheeks. And you don't have to use this brush with it. I have used other brushes. I haven't used a sponge with it, but you can use other brushes, of course. Like the e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush is one of my faves again. This Becca one does shed a bit, but it's good. As you can see, it has a super full coverage finish. All of the active acne and old acne scars are covered up. Really happy with the way that this looks and feels on my skin. It feels super lightweight. The primed side is looking more smooth than the unprimed side, but they both do look quite good. And I feel like the finish on the skin has a bit of like a soft matte look to it. There's a little bit of a sheen, but nothing intense. So I think if you have a normal skin type, you may skip powdering. I don't know, it's up to you. And if you have a more dry skin type, I think this could potentially be a good option for you because it doesn't have that tight matte feeling on the skin that some long wearing more full coverage foundations do. So you may want to mix in an oil or something like that, but obviously report down below if you have tried this, no matter your skin type. So I really love the way that this looks and feels on the skin, full coverage but lightweight, blends out really beautifully. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my makeup and then we will talk about how it performs in photos. Now I'm back with my full face. I turned my lights down a little bit because I felt like they were washing me out a little bit, so I think you can get a better representation of what it actually looks like on my face. And something crazy happened. Well, I mean, not that crazy, but in the way of me putting on my makeup crazy, I actually started bronzing my skin before I had powdered it. And the only time this has ever happened before, because the thought of putting makeup, like powder products on my face directly over foundation, stresses me out so much, especially when I see other people do it. I know it absolutely works, but for me, it's just not a part of my routine. I always powder, and the only time that's ever happened before is with Estee Lauder Double Wear. Like, I can think of 2 times in my life. So it really does dry down to a beautiful finish. I think I could have easily blended out my bronzer and blush, whatnot, without powdering, but I did go back in and powder, of course, and everything that I'm wearing on my face will be listed down below. But I really, really love the way that this looks and feels on my skin, and let's chat about how it looks in photos. Here in my filming light, you can see it has a really natural finish on the skin, a little bit of, I wouldn't say dewiness, but there is a little bit of a sheen. It's definitely not super flat. And I've said it once, I'll say it again, the most unflattering pictures of myself are these ones that I take here, and it just kills me inside every time I have to show them to you. But when I turned off my ring light and took a photo, there's definitely some flashback. You can see that cast on my skin. And then when I turned off all my lights in a completely dark room with flash, you're getting even more flashback there. And again, I don't care about flashback, but just so that you know, I'm gonna go ahead about my day and I will show you how it looks in some natural light midway through. Here we are in some natural light. I've had the foundation on for a few hours now and things look phenomenal. I don't really need to blot. I'm gonna do a light powder around my nose. Like, I don't really need to, but just to kind of help keep things under wraps. I find around 2 p.m. that's when my oils really start to come through, so things look really good right now. And as you can see, nothing has oxidized. It feels really good on my skin. I actually put on a headband earlier. I was like taking some photos. Long story short, I had a headband on earlier and it did transfer a slight bit onto the headband, but it actually, I can't see anywhere like on my forehead or anywhere where it disappeared. And I actually wore this yesterday when I got my hair done, and it looked really good after my hair appointment too. I mean, she didn't get like a ton of water on my face or anything, but I didn't have any issues with it like really rubbing away easily or anything. So I'm gonna wear this for another few hours and I will check back with you at the end of the night. It's now time to wrap this up. I'm ready to take my makeup off. It's the end of the day, but I think that things look really good. I actually just got in the door. I've been walking around outside for about an hour and a half. Had a bit of an Apple debacle, we'll call it today. I actually spent about an hour on the phone with Apple and I was touching my face a little bit, getting frustrated, and nothing really seemed to patch off. A little bit around my nose because it is quite cold outside and I was rubbing my nose a little bit, but otherwise things look really good. Nothing has oxidized. My blush, bronzer, highlight is all still in place. I do want to blot just slightly, and I was walking around quite a bit outside and I think that kind of contributed a little bit to my shine, but otherwise things look so good. And then just a little bit of powder. I would absolutely continue to wear this the way that it is. The primed side, I would say they both held up really nicely, but the primed side, however, does look a little bit more smooth. And I'm just really, really impressed with this foundation. I have worn this a few times now. It still feels really lightweight on my skin. It doesn't look heavy or cakey. It doesn't feel like a super full coverage foundation. And like I mentioned, now that I've blotted and powdered, I would absolutely feel comfortable to wear this out. I think it looks basically just as good now as when I put it on this morning. So if you were hoping that this foundation was going to be a big fail so that I wouldn't be able to recommend kind of a more high-end luxury foundation for you, then that's kind of not the case. This definitely is a super luxurious foundation, but I feel like the value is there because it really does last well. It looks great on the skin. It has a ton of coverage. coverage in there, but you can definitely go a little bit lighter, which is nice. It definitely is buildable, doesn't oxidize, and it could potentially work for all skin types. Again, let me know down below what you think, but I've had such a good experience with this foundation. I'm really glad that I finally tried it out, and I will definitely continue to wear it. So let me know down below what you think, and stay tuned for day 4. I'm going to be doing another highly anticipated, highly requested stick foundation tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!